Hey everyone, it's Will from Garage Built Athlete, and today I'm going to be giving you a review of these no balls. I got these from, you guessed it, Vinted for £15. I've always wanted to try out a pair of no balls, and I've never really fancied spending a lot of money on anything ever, but chucking out 130 odd quid for a pair of trainers you never tried on, it's a risk. And do you know what? I'm really pleased that I got them because I don't like them. I just don't like them. But first, what I wanted to do is point out that in the description of the video, you're going to be able to find links and discounts to all sorts of CrossFit, recovery, nutrition, supplements. If you're already subscribed to the channel and you're already following along, thank you so much. If you want to help us out that little bit more and get yourself a bargain with Relin, New Recover or Health, then head on down, check out those links, use the link in the code and you should save yourself some money. CrossFit trainers now are increasing in price. Every time you look, the newest pair, it's more than £120, sometimes up to 150. Get it shipped into the UK. Sometimes it's a pretty risky business if you've never put the shoe on before. If you do work out with friends and they're all into their CrossFit and their shoes, it's always a good idea to find and make friends with somebody who's got the same size feet as you, and then you can give theirs a go, even just for size, before you make a commitment. The route I have gone down, the last couple of pairs I bought, if you've gone back and checked out the previous video on the Metcon 8s, is picking them up from Vinted. These ones I got for £15, so it seemed like a safe enough bet. And I've trained with these a handful of times now, and I've had them for quite a while. And the reason I've only trained with them for a couple of sessions is I just don't get on with them. And there's a few reasons for that, and I'll go through that in this video if you hang on with me. Let's go through the pros of the no balls. I like the look of them. I like this super fabric, they call it. It kind of reminds me a bit of a pair of gardening gloves. It's got these bumps, which I'm guessing just provides you extra grip on things like, for example, rope climbs, or if you, I don't know, dragged along by your wrists behind a car and you don't want your feet to get torn up. These bumps will take care of that. I don't know why the bumps, but it gives a good look, and it's quite unique to the no ball. The stereotype with no ball is that they will have, as they've always had, that one pair of shoes, and they bring them out in different colorways time and time again, but it's just the base model is still the same. Now they've diversified their range now. They have different shoes and runners, and they have the trainers and the Trainer Plus. I can't claim to be an expert because I just have this pair. That's kind of a model that the CrossFit trainers do follow. We see it with Rad, they do their releases, a new colorway, and everybody goes crazy for that new color. It's a pretty good way of going. TYRs as well, initially when they came out, pretty ugly shoe in my opinion, looked like you were going to go bowling, but now they've really brought those colours on, and I quite fancy a pair, so if I see someone vintage, they'll be going in my basket. So yeah, I like the look of these no balls. Whilst they are black, they got a little bit of flair to them, and a little bit of pink. Reminds me a little bit of the Wadapalooza colours, which I really like, so that kind of drew my attention to them and made me want to go for them. They do feel like a good high quality shoe. The material is good, the sole is good, it's well put together. I've used them a few times. There's no immediate issues with any defects or any wear or anywhere on the shoe really. They're in really good condition, and I've done quite a few bits and pieces with them now. Movements that I did like in this shoe are basically stationary movements, like the squat, the deadlift, anything where we're not really having to be dynamic and jump and change direction. They're feel quite nice. Even things like a dumbbell snatch or any sort of dumbbell work where we're not moving around across the floor of the gym. You're staying in that one position and working those dumbbells. It's a good solid heel with a bit of comfort and a bit of cushioning. It's not like a Metcon where you're clomping around, and it's not quite as soft and reactive as the Rads. Did also particularly like the way that the shoe moves on the wall in a handstand push-up. Where I train, the wall has got a perspex sheet on, so it's designed to help you glide up and down if you're doing handstand push-ups rather than getting resistance from any sort of brick. And I found these were very good as long as I pointed my toes towards the floor. So on the back of the shoe, you see we've got that super fabric there, and it just felt really smooth and absolutely no resistance whatsoever coming up or down. If you're used to maybe pausing at the top and trying to rest at the top, then obviously you're going to want a little bit of friction and a little bit of grip, and that'd be where I just point my toes up. But yeah, this back part of the shoe allows some really great smooth movement in that handstand push-up. Running was okay in these shoes. They're comfortable enough. Again, if I had to do a run, I'd choose these over the Metcons, but then I would choose Rads or strike movements over these. So they're kind of right in the middle there for me. If there's any sort of shuttle runs where there's a changing in direction quite regularly, I'd probably stay away from the Nobles. But that's my experience with this particular set. Now, the reason I say that, and the reason that I don't like them for dynamic movements or even movements where we're having to jump and land or change directions, such as box jumps, like a lot of shuttle runs, even snatches and cleans, is that they feel very separate from my foot when I'm landing or when I'm trying to extend and move through the space. So whilst the sole is very good and the sole feels very well made and very good for cushioning and stability, the actual upper of this shoe seemed to just let my foot move around. And the way that the laces are designed, I can't seem to get them tight enough to really lock my feet in. Now, you might be thinking, well, you've got a size too big, but the actual size of the shoe is fine. The length and the width of the shoe is fine. This just feels quite sloppy when I'm in there and my feet kind of move about. I liken it to the feeling of wearing the Metcon Turbos I reviewed a way back, and it feels like quite a bit of movement in the shoe. My foot doesn't feel like it's really locked in and strapped in, and that's the kind of feeling that I like from a CrossFit shoe. And the other big downside of these Nobles is the laces. Whilst they look so pretty, they will not stay done up unless you double knot them, and you double knot them hard. Single knot, just walking, these come apart. They're so slippy. Even with a double knot, they tend to start coming loose. So you really have to lock them in and make sure you strap these in properly with a double knot. And then, like a poop sandwich, I'm going to come back to something that I like about the shoe, is that they are quite light. Popped them on the scales. I like to compare them to the rest of my range. These shoes are around about 325 grams per shoe. That's a size 11. It's the size I take, and that is about 20% lighter than the Metcon. So that's quite a big difference. And yes, whilst a few grams here or there doesn't make a massive difference, why have a heavier shoe if you don't need to? When we're doing gymnastics, moving all that weight through the air, it's not going to be a huge difference. But if your clothing and your shoes overall are lighter, there's less weight to move whilst you're on a bar. And lastly, I was actually able to do almost 6 meters handstand walking unbroken in the Nobles. So actually, when they are not in contact at all with the ground, upside down, absolutely fantastic for handstand walks. 6 meters might not seem a lot to you, but that's a PB for me, and I've been trying these for years. So thank you, Noble. Okay, that about wraps it up. I'm going to keep them in the collection. I'm going to break them out every now and again, but on this occasion, it's a no from me. If you're looking for more reviews on CrossFit shoes, check out the review section on the channel. Go back there, I've got a whole host of reviews that I've done on every pair that I own. And a video I'm going to be doing in the future will be having all of them out and talking about what I use for what. A lot of people might not understand why you have different CrossFit shoes and might just stick with one pair and that's it and hammer them. That's perfect if that works for them. For me, I like to have a few different options and I like to have the best shoe for the workout that I'm going to do. So much like using different tools for different jobs, I find that there are some benefits to one shoe over another, and I'll cover that off in a future video. So that's about it from me. As I mentioned at the start of the video, go and check out those links if you're looking to make any purchases on CrossFit gear, recovery or supplements. Hopefully you'll save yourself a bit of money. And lastly, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the content today, please give us a subscribe, a like, and drop a comment if you have any thoughts on the no balls. I'd love to hear from you. See ya!